He walked like a warning. His steps were slow, deliberate, each one landing on the polished concrete with a quiet finality that seemed to absorb all other sound. His face was a mask of placid neutrality, a landscape where emotions had long since ceased to roam. Other men in the cell block, men hardened by years of confinement and conflict, would instinctively part ways when he approached, their loud boasts and rough laughter dissolving into hushed murmurs. Even the guards, armed and trained for confrontation, watched him with a particular kind of attention, a blend of professional wariness and a strange, unspoken respect. In the sprawling, sun-bleached yard, whispers followed him like a shadow, clinging to his reputation. "Don't cross him," they would say. "He is a storm in human form." The man's name was just Mark. Not Marcus, not Marky, just Mark. It was a name spoken with a certain gravity, as if the single syllable carried the weight of a full story. His arms were canvases of faded ink, tattoos that told fragmented tales of allegiances and losses. The ink was old, the lines blurred by time and sun, but his eyes held the past with a startling clarity. He had been in trouble since he was a boy, a slow escalation from petty crimes to bigger ones that stole years from his life. The courts had finally put him behind bars for a sentence so long that the outside world had started to feel like a distant dream he could no longer quite remember. In the beginning, during his first months inside, Mark did not speak much at all. He adopted a posture of quiet observation, keeping his head slightly lowered, not in submission, but in study. He listened intently to the rhythms of the institution, absorbing the unwritten constitution that governed this society of the damned. These were not the rules printed in a handbook. They were the visceral truths of survival, felt in the tension of the chow line and the silence of the long nights. He saw how stronger, more predatory men took small things from the weak: a pouch of tobacco, a pair of clean socks, a moment of peace. He watched how other men fought with desperate fury to protect the tiny perimeter of their personal space. He learned the complex language of this place, which words could ignite a firestorm, and which smiles were merely daggers in disguise. One afternoon, a new arrival, fresh from sentencing and full of a loud, misplaced bravado, tried to establish dominance. The new man tried to snatch a sandwich from a smaller, older inmate, shoving him hard against the chain-link fence. The yard held its breath, expecting the inevitable explosion of violence. Then, Mark walked up. He said nothing. He did nothing but stand there. The loud man froze, his bravado deflating like a punctured lung as he looked at Mark. He mumbled a quiet, "Okay," and backed away, disappearing into the crowd. From that day forward, the stories about Mark spread like a contagion. They twisted and grew with each telling, becoming more potent and more fearsome. Men said he was dangerous on a level they had never seen before. They said he had a past so dark it would curdle your blood. Some whispered he had killed a man with his bare hands over a simple misunderstanding. Others swore he was serving time for a vengeance so meticulously planned and brutally executed that the judge had recommended he never be released. No one knew the complete story, but everyone trusted the aura of warning that surrounded him like a shroud. The life of a prisoner is a small one, a universe compressed into a few concrete buildings and a patch of sky crisscrossed with wire. Days bleed into one another, marked by the loud metallic clang of locking doors, the clatter of metal trays, the incessant buzz of fluorescent lights that never truly go out. Yet within this sameness, Mark's profound calm was a stark anomaly. He showed no fear, not even a flicker. He kept his movements measured. He kept his words measured. He kept his breathing measured and controlled. This unwavering steadiness was all he had left, and it made him more powerful than any man with a shank. The men create their own order, a fragile ecosystem built on fear and respect. They do not all follow outside laws, but most adhere to a strict internal code. This code can be brutally simple. Never steal another man's food or his mail. Never shame another man in front of his peers. Protect the weak from the predators. But never ever appear weak yourself. When a man broke a rule, especially by preying on someone defenseless, Mark would intervene. He would just act, a quiet, swift recalibration of the prison's delicate balance, and the lesson was always learned. The prison library was Mark's sanctuary. It was a small, poorly lit room with mismatched chairs and shelves of donated paperbacks. He never checked out books on crime or warfare. Instead, he read history, biographies of leaders who had endured great hardship, poetry. The librarian, Mrs. Gable, once saw him tracing a diagram in a book about architecture. He was studying how tension and compression work together to create something strong and enduring. He was a puzzle that no one could solve. One evening, the sound of quiet sobbing echoed from the communal shower block. It was a young man, barely 20. He could have laughed. He could have simply walked away. Instead, he paused, then entered the humid, tiled room. He walked to a laundry cart, pulled out a clean, dry blanket, and handed it to the young man. Then he sat on the cold concrete bench a few feet away and just waited. After a long silence, the young man began to talk, telling a small, simple story about his daughter who loved to draw big, yellow sunflowers. Mark just listened, gaze fixed on the far wall. He nodded occasionally. He did not ask questions. He did not offer platitudes. The next day, the young man walked with his head held a little higher. He no longer flinched at every loud noise. As Mark passed, a hesitant smile, and Mark, almost imperceptibly, gave a slight nod in return. People noticed. In private, some muttered that the old storm was going soft. Others were simply confused. They had built a legend of pure, cold violence around Mark. Inside a prison, stories are currency, but they are also rigid structures. Rumors grow tall and fast, casting long shadows that obscure the truth. The truth is smaller, quieter, and far more complicated. Some began watching him not with fear, but with a new kind of curiosity. They did not see a monster. They saw a man with a strict self-imposed code. He was careful. He set his limits. He did not break them. He existed in the space between their definitions. Years passed. The seasons turned. The light through high, barred windows changed with them. Mark's reputation remained, but it had softened. The key to his mystery arrived not in violence, but in a quiet, late-night conversation with older inmates who'd earned a sliver of his trust. He told them his crime was not random brutality. He had once had a son, a boy he loved more than his own life. The boy fell in with a very bad crowd. To protect him, to sever those ties, Mark made a choice. He tried to handle it himself, outside the law. The plan went catastrophically wrong, and people were hurt. The law punished him. The prison held him. In the quiet, he said he was sorry. Many didn't believe him. A few did. His rigid control was more than survival. It was penance. His quiet interventions echoed a failed paternal duty. Not all storms rage forever. As Mark grew older, the fire banked to steady embers. He learned to count the drops, to breathe through the noise, to find a strange peace in repetition. A hot, black coffee, a letter from a distant cousin, a faded crayon sunflower from a daughter he'd never meet. In the end, his story wasn't about violence alone, but about a walking personification of consequence. He was released on compassionate grounds, an old man with stooped shoulders and eyes that had seen too much.
The last thing he said, so softly the guard almost missed it, "I just want to be a person people can trust."
In a place ruled by loud voices, a quiet man with a devastating past became the unlikely fulcrum. It is never a simple story, just a slow, painful lesson in what it means to be human.